piece of part or segment of Talk of the Town. We like to have programs that relate to what we consider, or people that talk to us consider important issues, events, people in our community. And today, we're very, very fortunate to have with us representatives from a group that I think, and we all think, is very important to the life of the community and young people in the community, and that's the Scouts. And the Scouts rely on strong leadership, and they rely on members themselves that need to focus on being Scouts. But before we get into the program and talk about that, I'd like to introduce the people that are with us today. And these are your friends, your neighbors, people you know. On my immediate left is my co-host of the program, Talk of the Town, the illustrious Mark Meyer. It's my understanding that Larry King has contacted him about filling in on his show this winter when Larry goes on vacation, and we look forward to that, Mark.
I wish I could fit it in. It's awfully busy.
I know. Just let me know, and I'll probably help you with that. On Mark's immediate left is Alex Ellering. And Alex, we're going to have you talk a little bit later about some of the things that you've accomplished and what it's meant to you. And to his left is a longtime Scout leader, one of those people that takes responsibility and steps up to the plate in our community, and that's Eymard Orth. Good to have you with us, Eymard. And the next generation of leadership that's showing up, two gentlemen. We have Chris Ellering. And Chris, it's good to see you here. And our most recent arrival in the room is John Ellering, and we're glad to have you with us. And it's my understanding that Chris and John are brothers, and that Chris is the dad. Am I correct on that?
Yep, that's right.
And so I don't know, is the leadership role here from his end, or is it coming from your end to him, or just how does that work?
Well, I try and run the show, but it doesn't always work.
It doesn't always work. Well, that's usually the way it is.
You still
with
got
parents.
the veto power over you, know.
So anyway, Mark, I'm kind of I'm pleased to have with us this, I think, a really important part of our community.
Well, there isn't any question about it, and the training and the things that they learn about the world and all of its aspects are so impressive. And if I can regress a little bit, when I was just a youth in Melrose, until about the time that I was 11 or 12 years old, we had Boy Scouts, and I experienced some wonderful trips. We did some field trips. The Boy Scouts at that time had a lot on Birch Lake, where the state park is now, and it was all, you couldn't get there. There was no road. We had to go in there by boat. And the scout leaders took us in there and set up a camp for us, and we spent several days back in there. I'll never forget that. But at about the time that I was really interested in scouting and trying to learn all the things that they were about to teach us, our scouting died in Melrose. There was none. It just evaporated. There was just a lack of available talent to keep it going. And I've always felt a little frustrated because we didn't have that. And it'd be kind of interesting to see a history of when there was scouting and when there wasn't, and because I know it was on and off for different periods. But now we've been lucky in the last, how many years has it been that we've had good active scout leadership in Melrose?
It's about 23 years now.
And that's continuous, Eymard, isn't
Yeah,
that
yes.
right?
And it could be more, but our scoutmaster, Steve Morgan, he's been the scoutmaster now for 23 years, I believe.
Yes, he's been active for a long
Yeah,
time.
it's a long time.
And how long have you been involved with the program?
About 15 years now. And in the past 15 years, I've been to every summer camp there was. I just enjoy camping out with the boys and being a leader.
Now, is it open to everyone? How do you indicate who is eligible to be a Boy Scout?
Well, at that time, there was Steve was the only leader, and you needed at least 2 leaders for, for meetings or outings or whatever. And so I had a son in at the time, and he needed another leader, so he asked me. And of course, I was in the early 60s grade, and I thought, well, how can I relate to the young boys? Well, I had, a whole bunch of kids myself, so it wasn't hard for me, I think the boys took pretty well to me.
Sure, I'm sure they did.
You know, Mrs. Orth taught you well.
Yeah. Now, that would be your son Dave, I suppose, huh?
No, he's never been a scout.
Oh, he's not?
No. But my youngest son was a scout.
Okay.
I see.
But now, okay, so right now, people are watching this program within the city of Melrose, within the school district of Melrose. What is your territory? Do you take anybody that comes along, or is there a geographic restriction?
There's really not a geographic restriction other than we'd like them to come each Monday to the meetings, but however they can get there. We've had people from Sauk Center, Freeport, Greenwald, so we've had people from the surrounding communities.
So you have a regular meeting place?
Yes.
And where is that?
In the wintertime, we meet in the St. Mary's Gym.
Okay.
Each Monday, 3 Mondays a month that we meet, and we meet at 6:30, and we go till 8 o'clock, an hour and a half, and that's how the meetings
Sure.
times are.
Sure.
Okay.
In the summertime, we meet at the JC Park.
Right, outside.
Okay.
And then, are there programs? What do you do at these meetings? Tell us about that a little bit.
Go ahead, Eymard.
Well, yeah, we teach them different things like orienteering and also how to be a scout leader. We teach them how to be scout leaders also, and there's a lot of things that we teach them.
So, John, now you're obviously involved in being active in this program. So, do you, for example, do demonstrations at these meetings, or do you make sure that the coffee's hot, or what?
Well, things I probably do, I take a little bit more of a background approach compared to what Chris and Eymard do.
Okay.
More of a parent support to the meetings. We do some committee, different activities that are set up during the year, and we'll chair those activities and make sure those things get off and go. And during these regular meetings, our leadership takes over and they do those things.
Okay, so what you do is you kind of make sure that the leaders feel that there's somebody out there that's going to help them
Supporting them,
and
yes.
prod them along if
Oh,
they
yeah.
need a little prodding or a pat in the back or that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
volunteer for different activities, help
Okay.
drive the kids to different places, out to outings and other things like that. All of the other parents help and support him, yes.
Chris, how many scouts do you have now?
A dozen. We have 12. We've had as many as 41 or something like that. And it's nice to have probably a group of 15 to 20. So
Mhm.
that's how many scouts it would be nice to have. And why that many is because scouting is made up of what we call kind of a patrol and then a whole troop. Melrose is a troop 68.
Okay.
And the troop is like a squadron in the Army. And then you have different platoons or what we call patrols. And we like to have about 5 to 6 boys in each patrol. And they kind of have their own little leader and their own activities that they can do. And so if you have 4 patrols, you'd have 20 to 25 people, or how many ever you had in each patrol. And that's what kind of makes up Troop 68. And as you kind of go into scouting, then there's different ranks, and Alex can probably talk about the ranks. There's a set of ranks that are like what we call the first 3 ranks, and then the last 3 ranks. And Alex, if you want to explain maybe the ranks?
Well, I guess when you enter, you're just considered a scout, so pretty much all you gotta do to get that is enter. And then the first three are a lot easier than the other ones. All you have to do is pretty much read your book and demonstrate to anybody who is already that rank that you can do it, and they can sign you off on it themselves. And then for the next ones, you have to hold a position of authority or something within your troop, and also complete some merit badges. I think maybe 4 or so for the first one, and then 6 for another one. And then for each rank, you have to hold one more position of authority, and do some service projects, community hour type things. And then I guess for the last one, it's the big kicker. You got to do a project that involves scouts in the community that will be beneficial to the community. And then you have to earn more merit badges, get some letters of recommendation. It's a lot harder than what it sounds.
All right, now, so you're talking about the 6th rank.
Yep, the
And
last
that,
one.
and then after you achieve that,
Yeah.
then what do you become?
You're an Eagle Scout after that.
And you've achieved that.
Yeah.
Okay. You've got a lot of merit badges, isn't that what you called? Now, those are all signify a learning process that you, is that true?
Yep, exactly.
Well-
Each one of these I got after So Take Theater. We worked with Miss Elliott for this one, and we did a little play type thing, acted some stuff out, and then I got the badge pretty much.
She kind of signed off
Yeah.
or said, "Yeah, this is a quality that I can
Yeah,
say that
there's-
he's done it."
Yeah, there's books, merit badge books that say every requirement that you have to do, and you'll do it for her, and she'll tell you if that's up to standards or not.
So
and
a
she'll
lot
sign
of
you
what
off.
you've done to earn Eagle Scout status, and that, to me, is like, that's a big deal.
Well, there's a lot of people in the community that get involved in that, like you said, Mrs. Elliott, and there's other people that aren't even in scouting that we try to find to be an expert in that area
Okay.
and help out with all the different merit badges.
I see one here
So
that
there's a
looks
lot of
like the
people in the
coil of rope. Is that some, do you have to do some sailing or knot tying?
Right here.
Yeah.
That one was actually for climbing merit badge, which I
Climbing.
earned at many Boy Scout camp.
Okay. I see you got a swimming one, and now the airplane one. Does that mean you're a pilot?
No, that was the aviation merit badge that I worked on with Dad.
Okay. So every one of those would signify some demonstrated competence of some sort
Some
that you
skill.
achieved.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Alex, maybe you could just, in your own words, what's the most important thing that you learned from scouting? What does it really mean to you?
Well, I've learned a lot of things through scouting, I guess. When people think of Boy Scouts, what comes to mind probably is camping, which of course, I've learned about the outdoors and, what types of plants are poisonous, what are not. And I've gone on many campouts, and so I can do pretty good in the wilderness. But some things that other people don't realize is that it broadens you in so many other areas. For all of these, a lot of them, actually there's only one that has to do with camping, and all the other ones, personal finance, managing your money, and it just teaches you so many more skills than just camping.
One of the things that struck me as we talk about this, and this achievement, what I do is, a lot of what I do has to do with determining if people have skills and ability to handle certain kinds of jobs. For example, I help hire superintendents or principals, and one of the things that I'll see once in a while is somebody will have on their resume or their information that I received that they had achieved being an Eagle Scout. And you know what? That resonates. That tells me something. So the organization has provided the opportunity for you to demonstrate that you're able to do certain things, and that would seem to me to be pretty darned important, as you proceed to whatever the next thing is you want to do with your life.
Oh, yeah.
It would seem.
it's granted right now I haven't seen very many benefits from the Eagle badge itself. Granted, I've learned many other things, but I think down the road that little saying Eagle Scout is going to help me out a lot.
Well, you can put Eagle Scout Plus now, you've been on television.
Well, it's the training and the education underneath it that's really going to help you, in my view.
And that's why the employers will like that, because they
Yeah.
know that
Well,
has to be done.
it's a
for them.
discipline that you have learned, that a lot of people, let's face it, are not getting.
I think what signifies the importance of Eagle Scout, as we talk about the 6 ranks to get there, the first 3 ranks are what they call learning ranks, or that they're receiving information from the older scouts.
Yeah.
The last 3 ranks, now these boys have to become givers of the information. So they're not the recipient of that anymore, but the tools that they've learned, that Eymard has taught them and Steve has taught them and the rest of the leadership has taught them, now they're giving back to the scouts and to the community. And that's where the whole beauty in Boy Scouts is.
I think I've seen on Mel TV, haven't I seen the process of that you go through when you
Awards
the ceremony?
Yeah.
And I remember attending one of those. I was invited to, trying to think of who it was. I think it was Mike Hegley's son was an Eagle Scout.
Okay.
Jeff Hegley.
Yeah.
And I think I did attend his ceremony, of the induction, I guess, if you would, you want to call it that. And when did you start being this whole scouting thing? At what age did you kind of start?
I started when I was 15 in the 5th grade.
Is that typical? Do you take them younger than that, or?
No, not Eagle Scout. Yeah,
No, he asked when I joined scouting.
Scouting was when you were 12.
Oh, was
You've
it
been in
12?
6 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Boy
Yes,
Scouts.
I-
And then there's a different set of, there's a Cub Scout too.
Right.
That starts when you're actually in 2nd grade.
Okay.
And we forget about Cub Scouts, but they are kind of the feeder for the Boy Scouts.
Sure.
And so you go through Cub Scouts and then in between the 5th and 6th grade, that's when they become a Boy Scout. And then they go on into that.
So, when did you receive your Eagle Scout status?
I just got the badge on May 30th.
Okay, that's just this year.
Yeah.
And can you point that out to us?
Right here and this one as well.
Okay. Nice.
And you've accomplished all this, and you aren't even a senior yet. No, you're a senior now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a senior this year at Melrose High School. So that's quite an achievement. There are some that maybe get a little sooner, I don't know, but usually maybe even some of them are older. I don't know. I suppose this is a regular time.
You could be into scouting up to the age of 18.
Okay.
And so if you're going to make any of those ranks, you have to do it before you're at the
Okay,
age
so
of
I'm a
18.
little bit off my timing on that then, but, so he's right on target.
Mhm.
Okay.
Usually they start about 12 years of age, they're coming in into, I think that's about the age.
Right around 12.
Around 12. And one thing about your older scouts like him is us leaders, we can kind of sit back and let them take over in teaching the younger ones.
Mm-hmm.
So, it takes a load off us too then.
Okay.
We don't have to, we're there, but probably to guide them, but they do a lot of the teaching.
Now, there's obviously a substantial time commitment that John and Chris and Eymard and others scout leaders have put into this, and so that if you're having like 3 meetings a month, it is quite a bit of a time commitment for you to make. And I don't know if you'll have to be in every meeting, but
Yeah, but then also we have an outing every month. Different outings like camping and or sometimes they go roller skating and things like that. So we need leaders and parents for that too.
Okay, and that's where the support group of the parents comes in. So
That's
if you
right.
decide to go to Long Prairie skating, isn't that where we do it?
Well, usually St. Cloud.
St. Cloud?
Yeah.
So, well, we gotta get transportation together for,
That's right. See, then usually one of these parents, they're in charge of something like that, an outing or an activity.
Is there some expense involved to the scouts? Do they have to pay some dues, or who pays for the transportation and
Well,
the things that you-
there is a dues that we have at the beginning of the year. And we need to pay that to the National Boy Scouts
Mhm.
of America, the Boy Scouts of America. But our troop has some fundraisers that we do along the year, and those become community events. We sell Christmas trees, we do 2 breakfasts a year.
Okay.
And so these are the things that help run our troop as a nonprofit organization.
and it helps when they get people together and work together.
It becomes a community. It becomes a way of what we do.
Tell me about this outing business now. Isn't there some kind of a national thing?
Yeah, the National Jamboree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
They had that last year? The
No,
big-
it's 3 years ago.
Okay, and I don't know if you went, but
No.
my youngest one went, and there were quite a few from Melrose that went.
Was there?
In fact, I think there were upwards of 250,000 scouts that ended up at the National Jamboree. So it was a big gathering of many, many scouts throughout the world, actually ended up being. It was
I
a
remember
real
going to
jamboree.
Boy Scout camp when I was about 12 years old. I think they used to have it at Park Rapids, and of course, that's kind of in the old days. Anyway, I remember there was a boxing thing. Just did that back then. And I remember getting a black eye from a scout from Chicago, Minnesota. So that kind of tells you about what my Olympic prospects were in that area.
You forgot to duck that one, didn't you?
Well, I tell you what, I really didn't do a lot of ducking the rest of my life either.
You were probably doing a lot of talking when you should have been listening.
Well, I tell you what, I was practicing to be a lawyer and decided there's just nobody can talk that much. Anyway, how many leaders, and we got Steve, and obviously you.
Steve Borgany.
Right, Steve Borgany, and Steve's been a real presence and a big plus as far as I can see, and, I mean, he really keeps the whole thing, but we got you 3 gentlemen. Who else, or how many others do we have, roughly? You don't have to remember the names, but how many people are involved in the leadership roles?
Well, there's one other that becomes what they call an assistant scout leader.
Okay,
But I think each one of the parents picks up a part of it
I see.
and helps out with it as different events, as John's explained here.
Okay.
The leaders can't do it by themselves, and I feel that it's not something I'm gonna drop my son off and say, here, you take care of it from here. I wanted to get involved in it because I wanted to get out of it what he gets out of it.
So you become a participant.
You become a participant. You
You bet.
become part of the organization.
So it's not a drop off the 14-year-old and then I can go do something else.
I don't think so. I think if
Okay.
you really want to get something out of it, you need to be there and be with it.
Of course, that's quite a message to young people that parents are showing the interest to be involved.
Well, it gets you involved with your kids.
That's what I mean, yeah.
See,
Kids
I've
need
never-
that involvement nowadays. There's a lot of things going
Oh,
on,
yeah,
and scouting
yeah.
is one great organization
You bet.
to keep them involved in things.
Absolutely.
See, I've never been a Boy Scout, but I learn a lot from being the scout leader. You know,
Sure.
I learn an awful lot that I never knew before.
Give us an example of some of the outings. You say you have an outing every month of some sort. Just a
Well-
rough idea of what kind of things do you do?
Well, this month we have an outing. We're going to south of town here to Hellerman's. They have sort of a campground there, so we go out there and well, right now what I'm trying to do is, or is teaching your boys how to cook. You know, and we were up to Duluth too, and well, I think we had about 7 boys up there, but teaching them how to cook, and I think that's very important.
Absolutely.
You know, if you give the boys the food, well, a lot of them, they don't know how to cook them, they burn it or whatever, you know, and some of it goes in the
Especially when
garbage.
you gotta eat it yourself.
Yeah, you have to
Because the
eat what
the
they
leaders
cook,
eat off
but I
of
like
what
to,
the kids have.
I like to teach them, you know, I help them along, but teach them how to cook. You know, how to fry potatoes or
There's a great
whatever.
satisfaction in being able
Yeah.
to do
Did
something
I
for
hear of
yourself.
an outing one time where the group went to, was it Taylor's Falls and was crawling up the cliffs or something over there?
Yeah.
And they've done spelunking, so they spent the
Spelunking,
night
tell us,
spelunking.
yeah, what's that mean?
Going through a cave.
Okay, caving.
Yep, and
Okay.
they slept a night in the cave. They've gone, when they went up to Duluth, they went rafting, whitewater rafting.
Into
They've
the
done
Boundary Waters.
downhill skiing, yeah, Boundary Waters. They went on just about a week canoe trip up there.
So you're
So
talking
there are
about,
many
they're talking
adventures.
about activities here, Mark,
Yeah.
that are lifelong activities that you can do all your life.
You see, here a few months ago, we went up to Duluth, and then we went up to iron mines, the
Sudan.
Tower,
Near-
Tower Sudan.
Oh, you
Yeah.
went down in the tower
Yeah.
mine, huh?
Yeah,
It's a little
that-
dark down there, isn't it?
half a mile below. Well, they had lights on it, but I was really interested in that. That was really, you know, so I get a lot of benefits out of being a leader, just a leader. I just enjoy it.
Did they turn the lights off when you were down there?
Oh, no, no.
Oh, because they did do that when.
Well,
I did
yes,
that.
yes, at one time they did, to show how they worked the mines years ago with a candle. Well, you know, in a big area, they had one candle burning only, because the reason for that was that the people, the workers had to furnish their own candles. And, you know, way back then, that was expensive for them. They didn't get too much for a wage, but they lit one candle and everybody worked with one candle.
So what outings have you been on, Alex, that kind of stick in your mind?
Well, I think one of the funnest was Boundary Waters. Been up there once before, but what makes scouting is the people that are in it, and just the group that we went with made it a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
It rained a couple times, and you know, we knew we were gonna get wet, so we just had a water fight. It was fun. I would definitely go back. And then I've been to a couple summer camps, which are fun. You have the opportunity to learn or earn merit badges and go to different stations, learn different skills. I've been to a whole bunch actually of camps around this area. Camp Wachimagumi by Birch Lake and Hellerman's Land. And also I've been roller skating with the Boy Scouts, and we went to movies, a bunch of other little things too.
You mentioned learning about poisonous vegetation and maybe perhaps vegetation that you can eat, and mushrooms, and did you learn, you get kind of some insight into those things?
Yeah. We learned like poisonous plants like poison ivy and poison oak and sumac. So that's helpful because I usually have a problem with poison ivy.
That's
And
no fun.
we learned to identify certain plants, trees, and also animals. So
Sure. That's great.
I want to interject here that a lot of the activities and outings just didn't happen, that we just don't go from 1 month and then figure out, oh, next month we should do this.
Sure.
What we do is, at the beginning of the year, we have a core group of scouts that want to put together an agenda, practice, or an agenda. So what they do then is they present that agenda to a committee, which I sit on, and then the committee says, well, this looks good, we can do this and this and this and this. And so then we map out our 12 months out of the year, what we're going to do, and that's...
So it sounds to me, Mark, like this is an organization where there's a demonstrated activity where you show what you can do. there's participation, not only on the part of the young folks, but with the leaders and the parents, that there's planning going on, and that they do look at what will be the results of what they do. And it would seem to me that this sounds like pretty good training to me.
I think it's wonderful. And it's open, the enrollment, I mean, if a youngster wants to come along and would like to become a Boy Scout, they can contact you people and become
Well, anybody,
a Boy
and
Scout.
any of the young folks, certainly talk to Alex. He's at the school every day. I'm sure he'd be more than happy to spend one of those, maybe you don't have study halls, but I'm sure he would be more than happy to spend time with a student, and of course, parents, obviously, Eymard, you folks are gonna be willing, and I think, Mark, we're just about out of our time frame.
We are run out, but I want to ask one question. I have 3 daughters. If I'd have had sons, I'd have been in the Boy Scouts, but is there a Girl Scout operation in town?
Yes, there is.
Yes.
Wonderful. So the Girl Scouts the young ladies don't feel left out. There is a program for you. That's another program for another
That's
day.
right. That's
So
right.
we've got to cover both sides of this equation. But I want to thank you. I've learned a lot. I wish I had your experience, Alex. I wish I could say that I had a Eagle badge.
Well, you know,
But,
just sitting here and listening to Alex, it's pretty obvious that he's much further along in things in his life than what, you know, you were or are, I mean, for that matter. But anyway, we do appreciate you taking time out of your day to come and talk to us about this program.
It's a
And
good sport.
And we enjoyed having you. And with that, we do want to talk, or we do want to say thanks to our very able tactician, Renee, for her help, and Mark, your usual verbose self. So again, thank you.
Thank you.
You're
John.
welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it very much.
Yeah, we enjoyed it here.